This is a Nightline Friday night special.
It's only one pair per customer.
They are the hottest selling shoes in the world because of one man.
Michael Jordan. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Michael Jordan wears them. That's the reason why I'm buying them.
And some people will do almost anything to get a pair.
People would offer you favors, offer you money on the side to sell them to them early.
You're willing to do almost anything to get them. So children are killing each other over Nikes.
And so we asked Michael Jordan, has the frenzy gone too far?
I think the importance of the shoes is truly materialistic. I think if it's a situation to join in on the trend or the fad, it is not as valuable as someone's life or someone else's safety.
Tonight, Air Jordan, the selling of an idol.
This is ABC News Nightline. Substituting for Ted Koppel and reporting from Washington, Forrest Sawyer.
Once upon a time, not so long ago, shoes were just shoes, and basketball shoes were no more glamorous than any other piece of sports equipment. That was before Michael Jordan learned how to fly. When his success went through the roof, the shoes he endorsed for Nike went right along with him, and now critics say they are flying just a little too high. Air Jordans are expensive, exclusive, and hard enough to get that some children lie, steal, even kill for them. It is not the athlete's fault that he is so talented, or the company's fault that it is so successful, but it may be that something is getting out of hand. Quite literally, how much idol worship is too much? And when you have that much sway over young people, what responsibilities come with it? Those are questions we're going to ask Michael Jordan, who has become a marketing phenomenon and who is leading a trend, selling dreams, by letting people believe they're getting close to the stars. We begin with Nightline's Chris Bury.
One more time, there's only one pair per customer, okay, and we're only selling the red and white pair. Let's do it.
At the Nike store in downtown Chicago, a small crowd has been building for nearly an hour. Here and in cities across the country, they are participating in a near religious ritual repeated every 3 months. This day, the new Air Jordans are going on sale, $135 a pair plus tax.
I came to get the Jordans.
Why?
Because they're worn by the best basketball players ever lived.
I remember I had the first pair when I was in 7th grade, so even if it was snowing, I guess I'd be here.
I'm about to play basketball in them, so that's the reason why I'm spending that type of money.
It's a hipness. It's to have them first.
To be cool.
Absolutely.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
On this same day at a shoe store in North Carolina, one woman peels off a dozen $100 bills for Air Jordans she will ship to Japan. Some fans there are so crazy about the shoes that even old sweat-soaked sneakers fetch as much as 148,000 yen, about 1,400 American dollars.
That one shoe is clearly the biggest business we have at Nike. We create and produce more of those shoes than any other product that we make volume-wise. And the illusion of being exclusive is created by the incredibly high demand that even we didn't anticipate.
Nike has been so successful in marketing its Air Jordans that it barely has to advertise. The release date for new sneakers spreads almost entirely by word of mouth, and the company deliberately keeps the shoes in short supply.
Here's Jordan! For 12 years, Nike and Michael Jordan have played this game with phenomenal success.
Through the lane and lays it in.
The Air Jordan is now the single hottest shoe in the $7.5 billion American market. For Jordan, the Nike deal is worth as much as $10 million a year. According to some estimates, his new models, often just different color combinations, sometimes sell out within hours.
And our goal is reached. With that one sale, we got 218% of our goal for the day, and that put us on top for the week.
At Nike headquarters in Oregon, Michael Jordan's value to the company is so abundantly clear, it has named a building after him. Aaron Patton is Nike's director of marketing.
We really see this product as a high-performance luxury car, and we treat its distribution much the same. To keep that special, to keep that as our crown jewel.
But Nike's crown jewel is coveted most by some young people who can afford it least, poor inner-city kids. And all the carefully crafted hype surrounding Air Jordans is raising real questions about the message it sends.
Once the dream of being like Mike sets in, and even if you can't hit your plate with your fork, much less the 20-foot jumper, you want to be as close to Mike as you can, so you want the shoes.
Money's gotta be the shoes. Shoes. You sure it's not the shoes?
That means that when you can't get those shoes, with no alternative values, you're willing to do almost anything to get them.
A sad sign of the times.
A young man is shot for his shoes and left to die in a local park.
Dave and Shara, it seems incredible that someone would actually kill for a pair of shoes.
Indeed, people have been shot and beaten for the Air Jordans on their feet, but who's to blame? Nike says it bears no more responsibility than any other manufacturer.
Much the same as luxury car makers face when their cars are carjacked. They take that into consideration, but by no means should they limit their philosophy and attempt to create a high-performance product for their consumers.
You know, once I sat down with Jordan and had a long talk about this.
Bob Green is a columnist for the Chicago Tribune who has written extensively about Michael Jordan.
For one of the few times I really sensed confusion in him. At one point he was talking about, well, you should tell parents that if they think their kid's going to be held up or hurt for someone taking the shoes away for them, give the shoes up and I'll give the money back.
I think that it is short-sighted to look at Mike and say that he is exploiting inner-city children. Mike is a commodity himself, and I'm quite certain that he realizes that if he stepped back and said, I'm not going to take another dime from Nike, within a predictable period of time, Nike will have selected, packaged, and promoted another athlete to sell shoes to that same market, and nothing will have changed.
Who does a brother have to know to get a little taste of potato salad?
In fact, it already has. Nike is pushing a Penny Hardaway basketball shoe that at $140 is even more expensive than Jordan's, and second only to Michael's in popularity.
Now, young athletes coming out of college and even high school consider it almost a birthright to get a, quote, shoe deal, unquote. That's part of it, get a shoe deal.
Houston Rockets star Hakeem Olajuwon has a lucrative deal of his own with Spalding. But unlike most players, Olajuwon insists that the shoes bearing his name sell at a price most kids can afford, about $35. He claims it's a matter of doing the right thing. But Michael Jordan's fans insist that even $135 shoes can be useful to impart wholesome values. Eleanor Price holds out Air Jordans as a bonus for her son's performance in school.
I wouldn't spend that much. I mean, he's a good student, and he just missed the A honor roll by 1 point. And, you know, this is something that will be a reward for him, and I will do it for him because he's a good child. I'll do it for him.
What bothers some critics is not so much Nike's skill at marketing or even Michael Jordan's role.
It's not the athlete. It's not the entertainer. That's not the problem of why this troubles some people. It's this insatiable craving in our country to touch something that offers a false promise of making us a little better, when in fact it doesn't change us at all.
Nike and Michael Jordan, perhaps sensitive to some of the criticism, have come up with a solution of sorts. They are quietly developing a new line of shoes and clothing that will offer the Jordan name at lower prices. In the meantime, Nike is already gearing up for its next ritual offering of Air Jordans in black and red, just in time for the NBA playoffs. This is Chris Bury for Nightline in Washington.
I spoke with Michael Jordan earlier this week. That interview when we return. Earlier this week, I asked Michael Jordan whether he expected to become such a marketing phenomenon when he signed an endorsement contract with Nike almost 13 years ago.
When I actually first signed with Nike, no one really knew how big and how large this was going to go and has become. You know, and I think it's been a great trip, and it's been very, very educational for me.
Well, I know you've looked at it with a great deal of pleasure because it is, of course, remunerative, and it's a tribute to you. But as you see how kids are responding to this, how desperately they want the shoes, and what at least some of them are willing to do to get them, is there a degree of alarm that comes along with it?
Sure, it is a degree of alarm, and I think we try to please and accommodate as many people as possible. I think, you know, for a while there, the prices seemed to be something that the parents, when they were writing to me, were cautious about. And you know, I stressed with Nike, and we had some conversations, and we've tried to maintain a very affordable price. There's been a lot of other shoes that have come out that's cost more than my shoe, but I think for the most part, we've tried to listen to our consumer and attack and you know, more or less appease them.
Well, you know that for a lot of parents, $135 for a pair of shoes for their kids is big money. And,
sure.
and it's tough to come up with that kind of money. And the kids want them very badly. So what do you say to the parents when they're faced with that kind of dilemma?
I guess with the reactions that I've been receiving from the parents is that a lot of the kids have been using this as a sense of motivation in some ways, either as a present for their dedication to education, or going out and getting a job and saving some of their money to start and buy things for themselves. So in some ways, a lot of the ways that I've received in terms of the letters has been positive, you know, where the parents have said that these kids have utilized this as an opportunity to be independent and see something that they want and work hard to try to get that.
Well, I understand that, but there are certainly a lot of people now, at least some critics, who are starting to say, man, this is getting out of hand. These kids are lining up at the doors. They want to start a collection. They even run the risk of getting mugged now because they have shoes that are endorsed by Michael Jordan, and those are the very shoes that they want. Is there anything that you, and you are the reason that they are buying the shoes, can do to help ease some of that crunch?
I think there is. I mean, in some ways, we're actually, this coming year, we're trying to expand the line to where you have more than just one particular shoe. You have an abundance of shoes. Actually, we're going to have 4 to 5 different brands to attack the different financial needs in some ways. There's going to be some cheaper Air Jordans, but not in terms of quality, but just in terms of price. And I think it's not really the materialistic things. I think what we have to do, and I'm included as well as a lot of other parents around, is we have to reestablish those values of what these materialistic things have on us as individuals, to take care of those and not value them so much that it, you know, is overseeing some of the, you know, most important things in life, such as people's lives and people's safety.
I got to tell you, when you say that you're talking about expanding the line, there are a lot of people whose ears are going to pick up because they're going to start thinking about what that might be. So give me a sense of what you mean when you say that you're going to expand the line into several different areas.
Well, we're going to try to come out with more than just one Jordan shoe. We're going to come out with 3 different shoes and a workout shoe. And I think these shoes are going to be on the lesser affordable aspect of things. And I think to attack some of these parents' concerns, and I think make it more easier for the kids to afford and for the parents to afford. But yet at the same time, we're giving a sense of variety too. If you're the ultimate basketball player who looks for the best equipment out there, then you're going to have one product. But if it's, you know, more or less the trend, or, you know, trying to acquire a certain Jordan product, then we're going to have a more affordable situation there too.
What is the price range that you're looking at?
We're looking at anywhere from a $75 to $85 range up to a $145 range, and those are pretty much the standard cost of basketball shoes today. Now,
you talked about values, and that's an absolutely critical point when we're focusing on this. This is exactly what Hakeem Olajuwon has been talking about. He's got a shoe that's with Spalding, and it's going to be something around $40. And he is saying, you know what, I am trying to teach a different kind of value. I'm keeping the price low and the quality high. And so we are not doing a kind of elitism with our shoe. and I believe there's an implicit criticism there. What we are doing, he says, is teaching dollar value. You can buy a great shoe for $40. It's a shoe that I wear, and you know that you're learning something and you're teaching something to your kids that is a good thing to learn.
Sure, I understand that, and I appreciate that from Akeem. I think what we're trying to attack is your basketball enthusiasts who look at the game in a very serious sense, and they look for the best quality that could enhance those abilities. I'm not saying that you can jump like Michael Jordan or sky or shoot or score as many points as Michael Jordan. I think that's been attributed to the whole marketing scheme in the past, but I think what we're trying to put out there is the best product for the game of basketball. And that can vary. I mean, when you talk about Olajuwon and you talk about my game, it changes. I mean, he plays a different game than I do. So his product may be totally different. And the fan may look at his product as something that suits their game. But then again, they may look at my product and it may suit their game as well.
We'll be back with more of our interview with Michael Jordan when we return. Tell me a little about what your philosophy is when it comes to doing business off the basketball court. How do you decide what it is that you're going to endorse and how you're going to do that?
Actually, I'm trying to cut back now. You know,
Why? You're overbooked, are you?
I'm just not looking to tie into new deals. I think you know, it's been fun. It's been a great relationship. A lot of the companies that I've been involved with have been positive influences in the community, and yet it's been a product that, you know, either I've enjoyed it or I liked, and so that makes the relationship very simple. You know, and you know, but at this day and age, I am certainly trying to grab back some of that time that I've kind of given away, and you know, it's just for the family standpoint.
So what you're trying to do is get a little more life and a little less work cut into what you're doing.
Yes.
I understand that, but when it comes to the work, you clearly are going to be able to influence people in a way that, honestly, I can't think any other sports figure can. Have you thought of factoring that in so that you can start doing more than selling the product and bringing those values that you've been talking about tonight, more than you have?
Yeah, you can do that, and certainly I've taken that in consideration, as I've said, and from all the different letters that I received about the product or about my participation with the product or my involvement with it. That is my way of instituting that back to the companies and taking a more of a focused look at trying to accommodate either the community problems or the social problems or either the parents' problems. And I think that's been an understood relationship between myself and the company.
A little bit of time left. Tell me about this issue of hero worship and how children tend to look to you and what it means. When you talk to parents whose children are so focused on what you do and so much want to be a part of that, and who see you, the children see you as something bigger than life, how can you help the parents work with their children?
It's a scary responsibility. It's a responsibility that I really didn't ask for, but it was bestowed upon me, and I've graciously accepted it. And I've tried to do everything possibly from a distance to give the motivation to the parents' kids or the kids who don't have parents or whatever respects. But it is a responsibility. It isn't something that you can constantly live up to each and every day, because no matter how you look at it, you're still just a human being. You're going to be able to make mistakes. You're going to have to learn from those mistakes and move on. It's just that when you've been put in the situation that I've been put in, and a lot of other celebrities in this world have been put in, that mistake is magnified 10 to 100 times a normal mistake.
Yeah, and it's particularly true of you, because it's kids that really look up to you, and anything you say is going to be focused on by them.
It makes you very cautious of certain things, or the way that you say things, that the meaning that you have for the comment or the statement is the meaning that they receive or they accept. That is a heavy job responsibility, even when I'm talking to the camera today. I mean, you don't want things to be misconstrued in the wrong way. I think a lot of things that people tend to miss is that a person like myself, you don't get to know personally. You get to know from either the commercials or the companies that you're involved with, and you never get to see the day and life of Michael Jordan. So the influences and the things that you may take from those comments are pretty much naked.
The kids are going to be lining up to buy shoes every time they come out, you know that, and some of them are going to get them, some of them aren't. Some of them are even going to contemplate ways that they could get the shoes that we wouldn't care for.
Right.
What can you say to them about the importance of these shoes in reality in their life?
I think the importance of the shoes is truly materialistic. I think if it's a situation to join in on the trend or the fad, it is not as valuable as someone's life or someone else's safety. I think it's great if you want to use it as a motivational factor, either for education or job, saving money for, later, or independency. I think that's okay. But I would not advise, and certainly wouldn't condone kids going out and holding up other kids and turning it into a violent situation. That's not the purpose in mind. The purpose in mind is to put out a product that suits the basketball enthusiast, and hopefully that can be used in that manner.
Michael Jordan, thanks very much for the conversation.
Sure. No problem for us.
I'll be back in a moment.